So I have run into this problem where I cannot add any more Veteran Umamusume, so I cannot start any new careers until I start transferring a couple. Now, usually how I deal with this is I go to my veteran list and I transfer maybe like 5 or 6 just random Umas, and then I put it off until, a couple days from now. And then I run into this again, and then it happens again. So what I want to do now is I want to do a deep spring cleaning of my Veteran Umamusume list. I know that I have a lot of Umas that are not very good, that I have icons on that maybe were very good early in my account and are not great anymore. But because I never look at them, I don't know to transfer them. So in this video, I am going to talk about how to identify Umas that you want to keep and Umas that you want to transfer. I'm going to try to give you something to anchor on in order to better organize your Umas, to know what you have, to eliminate a lot of redundancy in your trainee list, and hopefully to clear out your Uma backlog so that you can start careers often without having to run into this. So let's go ahead and go through my process for how I'm going to organize every single Uma in my veteran list. The first step is to have an icon on every single Uma. If it doesn't fit into an icon category, it's gone. How do we make this happen? So we're going to go ahead and sort Umas with no icons. We are going to add an icon to an Uma if it deserves one, and we're going to transfer it if it doesn't. Then we're going to sort all of our Umas by icons. We're going to look at each unique icon grouping and ask ourselves of every Uma, is this unique enough in the icon grouping to keep? If yes, you keep it. If no, you transfer it. By piecing out this veteran list into each category of icon, you're going to reduce the mental strain that you have when you're trying to hold 230 Umas in your brain at the same time. You're only going to be looking at these in the context of their icon grouping and comparing them with other Umas of this icon grouping. And by doing this, you are going to have a much easier time sorting and understanding which Umas you should keep and which Umas you should give away. This is going to help you eliminate redundancy in your veteran list, and it's also going to help you pare down your list and get a better idea of what you have and what's valuable in your account. So let's talk about icon categories. Why would you keep an Uma? There's two main reasons that I can think of why you would keep an Uma. The first reason is a sentimental reason. And these are Umas that I personally like to keep because either they were a very early account Uma, they were a previous ace in a CM or a current ace in a CM, or they were the first Uma that I ever had that did something. The first Uma I ever had that beat the Ura finale, for example. Or the first Uma, that, like maybe it's a Haru Urara who wins the Armakinen, right? It's a special Uma that doesn't really serve your account any particular purpose, but you want to keep it because you like looking back on it. You want to keep it because it creates a strong memory for you. These are just how I sort Umas. You can always choose different icons for different things, but I'm giving you an example of what I do to maybe help you figure out how you can start sorting them. For example, I know that some people don't keep all of their aces. They just keep their aces that win the finals of their champion meeting. And that's totally valid, especially as we go into more champion meetings, and every champion meeting is going to add 3 more previous aces to your list, which slowly will build a number until maybe it's untenable. So these are the sentimental reasons that I could think why you would maybe want to keep an Uma. And then the other reason is a utility reason. So these are Umas that you're going to keep because they serve some kind of utility on your account. And how I've done it is I've sorted it into shoes for parents of certain distances. And then I've also sorted it into the card suits for parents of certain styles. The card suits, how they are displayed is the diamond is displayed first, the spade is displayed second, the heart is displayed third, and the clover is displayed fourth. And so that's how I keep it straight in my head of front, pace, late, end. Otherwise, I have the carrot as what I call a spark parent. I don't have very many of these, but these are the parents that I have that have like a 3-star Ura finale spark or a 3-star Unity Cup spark, or just a parent that has a very, very strong grouping of white sparks that I may be keeping around because maybe I can do something with it later, even if the pink and blue sparks might not quite match up or might not fall into one of these other easy categories. And of course, the little pink handshake I have here is team trials. Now, you're going to run into situations where these don't overlap perfectly, right? Like you're going to have a medium grandparent and a turf grandparent that gave you a mile parent. So I try to sort it based off of what that specific Uma gives, because I will probably, if I'm going to be using this Uma as a parent in the future, I'm actually going to be using it as a grandparent, because I'm not really going to use a parent that has a medium grandparent, maybe a long grandparent, and made a mile parent. That's just going to dilute my pink pool too much. So the only way that I would use a parent that has like mismatched pink groupings is if I was going to use it as a grandparent and let those mismatched pink groupings fall off. Does that make sense? So basically, I'm going to tag these umas with the pinks or maybe the whites that are associated with that specific distance or that specific style. So like if I get a uma that maybe it is a turf uma, but it sparks head on, which is a pace only skill, and it sparks pace quarters, which is a pace only skill, and maybe it sparks straight descent, which is also a pace only skill, I would put a spade on it because that is mostly going to be used as a pace parent rather than a turf parent. So there's a lot of different ways that these can be grouped and a lot of different ways that you can try to organize them in your brain. But basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to offload a lot of extra nuance and we're trying to offload a lot of the complexity so that you're able to sort these by groupings and sort within those groupings. That's all this really is. And once you're able to do that, then processing, dozens and dozens of umas does get a lot easier. And lastly, let's talk about some tips that we're going to be utilizing. So we're going to be very, very critical of our low spark rolls for parents because I'm not really going to use these parents. I fall into this habit a lot where I see like a 1-star blue, but then the whites are amazing, or I get like a 3-star turf and a 1-star blue. And I'm like, oh, I should keep this because 3-star pink rolls are pretty rare. But if I was making an ace, would I use this as a parent right now? And the answer is probably not. If I was making a parent, would I use this as a grandparent? The answer is also probably not. So I want to really emphasize that we want to be critical of those low star rolls, especially as we start moving into having more developed accounts that will get higher rolls. And as our account progresses, our standards of what a minimum viable keeper parent is should also be continuously improving. So you want to really think, would I use this right now? Will I use this next CM? Can I imagine a world in which I will want to use this exact parent? And if not, then you probably shouldn't keep it. Now, the other thing that I like to look at is how old is this parent? If this parent is like 4 months old, have I ever used it? Right? You can check to see if you've created an UMA using this as a parent. And sometimes when you're looking through that, I'll see, oh, well, I saved this UMA 3 months ago. And I realized that I've literally never used it as a parent. So why am I still keeping it? Because it's clearly not actually serving me any benefit, even though I thought maybe I would use it. Clearly I haven't, right? Now there's exceptions to this, of course. Like you can have something for a CM that hasn't happened yet. Like for example, a good dirt parent, right? But usually this is a good indicator of whether or not you've actually used it. It's kind of like when you're cleaning out all of your clothes and you have to ask yourself, have I actually worn this in the last year and a half? And if not, you got to donate it, right? And so the last thing is you really want to think, does another UMA do what this one does but better? There's going to be issues and times when, one UMA will have one good white spark and another UMA will have another good white spark, and you have to compare those two. And maybe you keep both of them. Maybe if you have one UMA that has like a Highlander spark, and you know that Highlander can be really valuable in certain tracks, but another UMA has a different spark that's also very similar, where it's very conditional, but maybe you would want to use it in certain tracks and not in others. In those situations, of course, you can keep both of them, or you can try to think through when you would actually be using these parents, how often you might be using these parents, and try to reduce them based on that. It does get a little bit tricky, especially when you start bringing grandparent sparks into it, so you just want to do your best to what they say in the writing world, like kill your darlings, right? Like you want to be able to emotionally detach yourself from the concept of this UMA as like a future parent that could benefit you, and instead think about it in relation to all of the other UMAs that are similar to this UMA that you already have. And when would you use this over something else, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start applying these rules to my account. Now, first thing I'm going to do is have an icon on every single UMA. So I'm going to sort all of my UMAs that have no icons. I'm going to add an icon if it deserves one, and I'm going to transfer it if it does not. Okay, that's the first step I'm going to take on my account. This part might get a little bit long-winded because I am going to be working through, 230 UMAs, but hopefully, within those first few minutes, you've been able to kind of figure out the process that I'm going to be using, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. So let's go to my list, and so right off the bat, I do have a lot of UMAs here that don't have icons on them, but that's because these are kind of like my ace alternates. So I might not be transferring those because I'm actively working on making an ace for this upcoming CM. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sort by sparks. That's going to be very helpful. And then we are going to filter down here and filter by not set. Now, if you haven't been using favorite icons very stringently since the 11.11 update, you might run into some problems where you don't have a lot of icons on your Umas in the first place. And unfortunately, at that point, you just need to be able to do this process and put icons on all of them. And I can promise it's going to make your life a lot easier moving forward, especially as you're moving back and starting to sort these icons, starting to group these Umas together, okay? So here are all of my Umas without icons. Ooh, that is actually quite a bit, isn't it? All right, we're just gonna go through them pretty quickly, and we're gonna be pretty brutal about this, okay? So this is kind of a long process. I have put timestamps in the description of the video detailing when I am going through certain categories of Umas and when I am done. Because this process takes quite a while, please feel free to skip ahead if you're not really interested in seeing me compare a bunch of similar Umas against each other. I just thought that I would include all of it for posterity and to just show exactly how I am executing the method that I described in the beginning of the video. But it's not required watching. Please feel free to skip ahead towards the end if you want to see the results and my conclusions. Thank you so much. So I went ahead and sorted them by ascending. So we have speed first, then we have stamina, then we have power, then we have guts, then we have wit, okay? I'm just gonna go through all of these. This is a current ace, so I'm going to ignore that for now. This is a speed late surger, no icon. It has 2 dirt sparks, but I've never used it as a parent. I don't see any reason that I would keep this Uma. And another thing you can do here is check the date. I made this Uma on August 12th, so this Uma is almost 6 months old. Yeah, I don't see any reason why I have this other than I think it was my Team Trials Uma for a while. So I'm going to start batch transferring. This Uma has a 3-star pace, 2-star groundwork, which is nice, but... And I have used it as a parent before because it has a 2-star groundwork parent, 3-star. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 7 groundwork Uma. The pinks aren't that great, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make it a front runner. I'm going to tag it as a front runner Uma for now, okay? And that gets rid of it. And then we're just going to go down the list here. Here is a front Uma that I made that did not get groundwork. I have used it once as a parent. Turf Mile. Yeah, I mean, let's tag it. Turf Mile, but it's mostly front, so we're going to tag it with a front. And we're just going to go through this. I'm going to speed up the recording a little bit here. Hopefully you'll be able to still see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to transfer my first 15 here, and I do try to transfer in lower batches so that, you know, I don't accidentally click away and wind up resetting all of the work that I've done. But the nice part about the icon-based method that I'm doing is even if I do that, I can go ahead and resort them, and most of the ones here remaining are ones that I've decided to transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer the first 15 here. So I've already checked all of them, and I've already made sure that all of their sparks are either but I have another something else that's better, or it's not that great, or I can't really see myself ever using it outside of a couple of certain scenarios. So then we're just going to go ahead and continue on and do the rest of these. Okay, so this is the rest of my Umas that don't have an icon, and I decided that we're not going to be as good as other Umas in my pool, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer all of these. All right. So now the rest of these, like I mentioned, these are all Umas that I'm still kind of cycling through in terms of my aces for the current CM. I'm not going to worry about those right now. So now let's start going through these. We're going to go ahead. So first, let's look at my Boba favorites. These are all my Sentimental Umas. So I still kept all of my G rank Umas that don't come from anywhere as just kind of a sentimental reason. I have kept the first Uma that I ever ran, which was this vodka that I ran on July 21st. And so I've kept some of these really, really early Umas just because, I don't know, I like having them in my account. I think it's fun. So we're not going to remove any of those. We can go ahead and start looking at, let's see. So I think Frontrunners, I think, is going to have a lot of Umas here. These are all going to be Umas that have some form of sparks for fronts that I wanted to keep for whatever reason. Maybe some of these not quite so much, because this should be an end closer one. So it's possible that I've accidentally misfiled a couple of these. So we'll go ahead and look at those as well. And we will see where this gets us. Firstly here, we do have our 3 groundwork, 1 speed, and for a 3 groundwork parent that has a 2 groundworks parent, we'll keep that for now, especially since all the pink sparks line up. This Fuji is a 2 groundwork, 2 unity cup, 2 groundwork, 1 groundwork, long. So this is kind of like a long groundwork parent, so we can keep that for now. This is a medium one, this is a long one, or a turf grandparent. This Condor Pasa is 2, 1, 3, turf, mile. So this is like kind of a mile, maybe we'll keep that. We're gonna look at this one. This is a 1-star speed, 2-star groundwork, 2-star groundwork, 3-star groundwork. So this is a 5. This is a 7 groundwork parent, but she has a Pace Chaser pink. She doesn't really have anything other than groundwork. She has a 1-star grandparent. As much as throwing away a 7-star groundwork Uma would be tough, I do think that I have better options in my repertoire here. And I have used her a couple times. This was an Uma that I was making when I was very early on in parent farming. I think you can even see that I made her in September. So she's only been used twice since the early September. We'll go ahead and transfer her. Or we're going to take her icon off, which will eventually enable us to transfer her. So now we're on this Bourbon. This Bourbon is also a 1-star speed, 2 turf, no groundwork. Very nice firm conditions. She has a 3-star groundwork parent and no groundwork here. She's only inspired 1 Uma. Because she doesn't have groundwork, I don't think that she is worth keeping, even though she does have some other whites here, just because she's a 1-star speed. 2 speed, 2 turf, 1 groundwork, 3 groundwork. It's possible. Who was our other mile? Was it you? This is a 2 groundwork. So this is from the same parent farming that I did. One of them has 1 speed, 1 turf, 1 groundwork. One of them has 2 speed, 2 turf, 2 groundwork. Or sorry, 2 speed, 2 turf, 1 groundwork. Okay, and this one is also... This one was 2. I'm not super excited about either of these, to be completely honest. I will go ahead and keep the one that has more speed here. This is a 3-star speed, 2-star groundwork, mile grandparents. This is one that I'm actually going to keep around. I like this one a lot. This is a really good grandparent option. Only 13 races, but still, this is a nice one. I don't know why you are here, because you are an end closer. I'm not thinking about you quite yet. This Sand Sky, 2 groundwork, 1 tail held high, but it is Sand Sky, and I have to give that a little bit of extra weight, although her grandparents are not good. This one is good, this one is not good. So, because it's Sand Sky, I'd want to use her as a direct parent, but having 1 stamina on a direct parent and having 1 stamina on a grandparent is, like, really painful for only 3 total groundwork sparks, so I'm looking pretty critically at this one. This is what? This is a mile one? Let's look at this. Let's just skip ahead here and look at my other mile Saiyan Skies, because she has 1 groundwork. Same parent. That's annoying. This is a Guts, but she has 3 groundwork. If I'm gonna have, let's see, mile, turf, yeah. If I'm gonna use a mile Saiyan Sky, it's gonna be this one. Which seems a little bit insane, but oh, she only won 8 races. Why? Why did I do this to myself? It seems a little bit insane, but if I'm going to be using a very low blue Saiyan Sky anyway, I might as well use one that gets me a lot of groundwork sparks. So I don't think... maybe I would keep this one for the 3 mile just in case, but I don't think I'm going to keep this one. It's 2 groundwork, it's tail held high. Maybe I'll move on for now. Look at this medium Saiyan Sky. So this one has Playtime's Over, Ignited Spirit Wit, Front Savvy, Long Straights. Like, this one's pretty decent, but it doesn't have groundwork. And only 1 grandparent also has groundwork, and it's only 1 stamina. But Ignited Spirit Wit is pretty nice, so maybe I'll keep this one. 1-star stamina, 2-star groundwork. 3, 1, why did I use this parent? I think I needed the mile sparks. Has a front runner spark, has a groundwork spark. I don't really want to keep that one either. What about this one? This one also has front runner spark and mile spark, and this has 2 groundwork. Okay, so I'm going to keep this one instead. And the reason being is because I know that Fujikiseki needs 4 front runner sparks in order to get to front A. And so I would like to keep an Uma that has a decent groundwork spark, has a front runner pink, and maybe not like an absolutely terrible blue. And she's 1 more races. So where's this bourbon? So I'm probably going to use this Marzensky more than I will ever use this bourbon. And if we're looking at her inspiration here, I've never used her as a parent before. The wet conditions is nice. I don't think I would use her. All right. So now let's move on to this 2-star stamina, 2 stars medium. This is a very nice Saiyan Sky. It has to be a grandparent, which is pretty annoying, unless I just ignored the mile sparks and the 1-star stamina. Is it better than this one? This one has Ignited Spirit Wit. This one has Tail Held High, Groundwork, or Finale Corner Adept. These use the same... No, these does not use the same grandparents. This one is all medium. Okay, I'm gonna keep both of these. For this one, stamina, medium, groundwork. I mean, this is just solid. A solid medium like grandparent. This is a 3-star stamina, 2-star turf. But the whites kind of suck. But I'm not at the point in my account quite yet where I'm throwing away 3-star blues, so we're gonna keep that one. 1-star power, 2-star turf, 2 groundwork, 2 groundwork parent, 3 groundwork parents. This is a 7 groundwork, even though there's only 1 star, so this is pretty good. This one, no, I'm not going to compare these because this is a 3-star blue. 1-star power, 2-star mile. No, this one isn't good. I wouldn't keep this one over my other options, so we're gonna take that away. And then, let's say this one. Oh, no, this is the wit. This is my other 2-star front. Has Playtime's Over, 1-star groundwork, 1-star finale. Oh, but it does have a 3-star finale grandparent. I don't know that I would use this one. Well, yeah, no. With 1-star power, I would use Marzensky if I needed a frontrunner pink more than I would use this one. 1-star guts, 2-star mile. This is my 3-star groundwork Saiyan Sky, because of course it is. So I have to keep it. This is my frontrunner Spark, 2 Unity Cup, which isn't terrible. Groundwork, but not much else. This is pretty borderline. I'd probably... It has Front Savvy, which is a nice universal green for a front runner. It's borderline though. I'm not sure. I might keep it just because. This one, 2-star groundwork, but I've never used it. It's a 1-star wit. Slipstream is pretty decent, but this was a debuffer that I just tried to make into a parent, I think. So yeah, we're not going to use this one. This Sane Sky, I think we're going to keep, even though there's a little bit of overlap. I've used her a lot, and man, I've got to get rid of this El Condor Pass. This was from when I was farming for CM3, and so I didn't have a lot of Groundworks Works in my account yet. I don't know that I would ever really use this, but 3 Mile is pretty nice. Could be used as a grandparent, so we're going to keep that for now. Wit, front groundwork, front corners. I just can't, I have used this one before. Yeah, I mean, there's so many whites, I will keep it. Okay, so that's my fronts. My front sparks. Now we'll go to my pace sparks, which are much fewer. We have this one, who did do a 2-star Umastan, turf, front corners. I don't know why I put her as a pace parent, but I did use her a lot when I was trying to farm for Umastan, so we'll just keep this. But I'm going to change this to a carrot, because carrot is going to be my generic useful sparks. Yeah. And this Fuji, which is my head-on pace savvy Fuji, that has a couple of the nice things, has some okay parents. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep this. Cool. Let's move on to our lates. Oh, so another thing is that when I was starting my sorting process, this is why I want to make sure that you nail down what your criteria is right away. When I was starting my sorting process, I just put hearts on Umas that had good groundwork sparks, which now, of course, conflates with my sorting process of using diamond as my front parents. So we're going to keep hearts. We're going to, because we have hearts and diamonds mixed up, so we're going to reassign all of these. All the ones that, because this is a parent that I've used many, many times. As if both a grandparent and a parent. So we're going to keep that. This is actually a late surger parent. 3-star stamps, we're just going to keep it. This one is a great long parent. This is my 9-star long. This is very nice. 2 power, 2 groundwork, 1 front runner, although I think I have a Marzensky that's very similar to this one, which would be here. Oh, but this is stamina and the other one is power. So I guess we'll keep them both, especially since this is a 3-star redshift. 2 guts, 2 turf. Of course, my other 3-star groundwork. I'll keep it. 2 guts, 2 long, 2 groundwork. I don't really know that this is something that I would ever use. I haven't used it yet. I think I'm actually gonna toss this one. One wit, 2 mild, 2 groundwork. 2 tail held high though. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I'll keep it for now. Wait, I think I just marked this because it did get groundwork, but it's not very good. We've already seen this one. Here's my 3-star groundwork, 2-star tail held high, 2-star wit, 1-star front runner. This is a very nice parent that I've almost never used. Because I don't know I have it in my account, right? Because I'm so bogged down by all these other ones. But this is probably one that I would use over most other groundwork parents. So if I was doing this on my own and not like recording, I might go back and like reevaluate all of my other Saiyan Sky groundwork parents based off of this one. But that is not what I am doing right now. This one is nice, but I have a better one. that 3-star speed one is better than this. All right, cool. So now we have all of our lates and fronts back in where they belong. This is my only late parent, that's fine. End closers. This Hishi Amazon got straightaway spurt and end corners. Not the best, but it is what it is. This one gets straightaway spurt. 2-star straightaway spurt, 1-star stamina. This one got nothing, but she's a 4-star end closer with not terrible blues, so I might use her on like a Manhattan Cafe, which I have not yet, but I might. This is a 3-star stamina, 3-star end, so I'm just keeping it based on that alone. 2 power, 2 turf, but it has 5 end closer sparks. This was so that I could play Manhattan Cafe as the end closer. This is my main Manhattan Cafe parent, so I'm going to keep it. This got end straights, end savvy, 1 power, 2 turf, and it has a straightaway spurt parent. Yeah, I'm not as bogged down by end closer parents as I am by like front parents, so I would keep that. This one, no real reason to keep it. Haru has very bad affinities with like everyone. I made this Haru forever ago. I think I just kept her because she did have some extra end closer sparks, but now I don't need that anymore. So we're gonna remove that icon. Wit, medium, she did spark straightaway spark. I don't have very many straightaway sparks, so I'll just keep that for now. This one has some nice sparks, but it's always overshadowed by this one. So I think I can afford to keep both of them just for funsies. All right, let's go to Sprint. Now Sprint, I know I have some like this one. So this is a 1 guts, 2 sprint. I saved this one because I got this very early on. And it was like my only sprint parent for a while, but it's not very good. So we're just gonna take this off. Whoops. Because I know that I also have this 2 power, 2 sprint, and I know that I actually have this 3 power, 2 sprint, and this is my main sprint grandparent. So 2 power, 2 sprint, I'm also not crazy about. I'm never going to use this compared to a 3 power, 2 sprint. So this is my parent that I'm currently using. I don't love that I've marked it as a sprint parent when it has a mile pink, but that is what it is. I got this one very recently. It's not amazing, but I don't have very many sprint parents to begin with, so it's fine. This is my 1 stamina, 2 sprint. I'm never going to use a stamina spark on a sprint parent. This is a 2 power, 2 sprint, 3 Uma stand, so this one is very nice. We'll go ahead and keep this one for sure. This was a 1 power, 3 sprint. I don't think I have any other 3 sprints, so I'm just going to keep this based on that alone. 1 guts, 2 sprint. I would never use this over that Maruzensky. 2 wit, 1 sprint. I don't really see a reason why I would use this one, but let's check this too. I should not have tagged this as a sprint parent because it doesn't have any sprint sparks, and it doesn't really have a lot of... It has countermeasure, but... We're not gonna save that. 2 wit, 3 sprint with some actual sprint... Decent sprint whites, we'll keep this. 3 wit, 1 sprint, we'll keep that because it's a 3-star. Where's my other 3-star sprint? It was this one. 1 power, 3 sprint. I don't mind keeping both of these. I've already, you know, reduced my sprint spark, or my sprint icons by quite a bit. We move on to mile. 1 speed, 1 mile, plus groundwork. It is all mile, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 groundwork. I've used it a couple times earlier on. Yeah, we'll keep it for now. 2 speed, 1 late. This is a pretty nice parent. Has mile grandparents. Yeah, it's a good late mile parent. 3 speed, 2 mile. We're keeping this just because we're not getting rid of any 3 speeds. This is another 3 speed, 2 mile. 3 speed, 2 front, and like nothing else. This is my 3 speed, 3 mile. 2 stamina, 2 mile. 17 races. Yeah, I could see myself keeping this one. Well... Oh yeah, this is my borrow parent. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one just in case. Like, my Saiyan Sky is pretty much better in every way, but I know Fujikiseki has a better affinity with Mars than she does with Saiyan Sky. But yeah, this is my borrow parent, so it's been used quite a bit. 1 power, 2 mile. I used this as a early mile parent because it did roll a lot of whites, and I did train her as a parent, but I cannot see myself really using this again just because it's very generic. So we'll take this off. 3 power, 2 late, we're keeping that. 3 power, 3 turf, we're keeping that. 2 wit, 2 front, groundwork, groundwork, groundwork. Yeah, this one's decent-ish, even though I used a 1 wit parent on that. Good generic parent, has some Ura Finale sparks, we're fine there. Lots of random corners, but we have a mile grandparent and we're 3 turfs, so we'll keep that. And 3 wit, I guess we'll keep this. Mediums. 1 speed, 3 medium, 2 Umastan. That is nice, even though it's a 1 speed, which is unfortunate. This was going to be a Manhattan Cafe parent because it has end closer grandparents. I don't know that I would keep I don't know that I would actually use this. The Umastan and Unity Cup are both very nice, but I already have... I'm using other Umas for my Manhattan Cafe, like my 4 end closer sparks. I guess it does have 3 medium. Maybe we'll keep it in case we want to run on a medium. 1 speed, 2 medium. This has 10 billion white skills. None of them are, like, crucial, though. I'm thinking about that one. This was a parent run. It did roll medium straights and corners, but... That's 2, 2, 2, 2. I don't know that I would actually use this. I have so many medium parents. I have used it, though, so... Alright, we'll hold on to that for a second. My Fujikiseki, who used that Marzensky as a parent. So I know that she has really high race affinity, so we'll keep that for now. Ura Finale Spark, fine generically. So like, I'm seeing a lot of really generic parents here. If I was being more cutthroat, I would probably be dropping some of these, like if I was following my own advice a little bit. But because it's not taking up that many slots, I'm kind of keeping them for now just in case. Because I know that like affinity is a thing, so I'm thinking about like, would I want to use these for like different affinities or not, that sort of thing. This was a Ura Finale parent. But it has a Pace Chaser grandparent. I think I have better gold cities than this. It's a 3 speed, that's fine. 1 stamina, 1 medium. I'll keep it just for Saiyan Sky, because she's such a good grandparent. This is, I think, my only medium Meiji Orion parent, so I'll keep that one. 2 stamina, 2 medium. I know that Shooting for Victory is also used a lot in medium track, so I'm going to keep that one. 2 stamina, 2 turf. It's a nice medium front runner parent, but it doesn't have groundwork, which is pretty unfortunate. And It's not saying sky. But it does have a lot of greens, so we'll keep it on hand for now. 2 power, 2, 3 pace. I don't love the pace. I don't love the power, or the fact that it's not 3 stars. 2 power. 1 guts, 3 medium. It has 2 finale, but am I ever going to use a 1 guts? I am not. 1 wit, 2 groundwork, 3 playtimes over. Yeah, we'll keep that one. We don't need that one. Okay. We're almost through, I promise. Longs. Longs are tough because I don't have very many good long parents. She get head on, that's pretty valuable. She's fine. 1 star long, 2 star groundwork. She's fine. This is 3 star speed, 3 star speed. 3 star speed, 1 star long. It's like an 8 speed. Yeah. I'm not sure about that one. This one we're not going to keep. I got a Knight of Power. That one's not that great. We'll keep that one. This was one of my original long parents. We'll keep it. This one has groundwork, doesn't it? Oh, no, not this one. But it is a 3 stamina, so we're keeping that one. We're keeping that one. 2 power, 3 long. We'll take it even though it doesn't have groundwork. 2 power, 2 long. It does have Highlander though, so we'll keep it just in case. Grandparents are crap. I'm not going to use this again. I used it a lot early on, a little bit early on, to start farming long parents, but I wouldn't use it as a parent, as a grandparent. It's not good enough. Probably wouldn't use this one either. It's a 3 power. We're gonna save that one. 1 gets 3 long. I used it a lot early on to try to farm long sparks, but I can't do a 1 star guts parent anymore. 2 at 3 long. Now this is keepable. This is very nice. All right. I do not have any dirt sparks, so we're keeping both of these. These should be on my Tempest Trial Uma, or Team Trial Uma. Yeah, these are fine. Let's look at our aces. These are all of my aces. If we sort them based on date. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, the one that just happened. And then these are the ones that I'm still contemplating on for Capricorn. Okay, cool. And then these I'm all keeping because this is oh, this is an 8 star. Not a great 8 star, but we're gonna resort this into medium. And then these are both very good generics. Or finale, and just a bunch of whites. Okay. And then let's look at these. Ooh, there's so many of these. Okay. These are my generic skill Umas. These are going to be ones that have a lot of like finale sparks. I'm keeping a 3-star finale spark, although I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do with this, so I'm still thinking about it. This one, no, it's an old one. Because carrots used to be the old marking symbol, a lot of these are also Umastan. We'll keep that one. A lot of these were also old Umas that I had just marked and then never unmarked, like this one. Finale. Yeah, that's a 7 finale. We'll keep that. 3-star Unity Cup, we'll keep that. Excuse me. 3-star Wet Conditions, not enough. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that. Keep this, because this is my debuffer parent. No, 1-star Groundwork is not worth a 1-star Power and 2-star Late Surger anymore. This was an old debuffer that I had. Old Umastan parent. Two stamina, 2 miles, not enough. That one's actually decent. It's a 3-star Ura Finale. Nope. Front Runner. 2 Groundwork. We'll keep it, why not? 1 stamina, 1 mile. This was my original 2-star Groundwork parent. I used this to farm a lot of Groundwork, but it is not good anymore. 1-star stamina, 2 Speed Eater, 1 Groundwork. No. 3 speed, 1 end. Yeah, let's put this in our end closer stats here. Three speed with fast paced is nice. We'll keep that. 3 Ura. 2 Ura, but nice other sparks. And this is my another one of my 3 Groundworks, I guess, because I have a couple of those. All right, cool. So now we have finally gone through all of our filters. And what I've done here was I've just unchecked the filter of all of them. I haven't transferred them, I've just unchecked the filter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look again at all of my Umas that don't have checks, and I'm going to sort them by date since since there are a couple of these, these guys that I want to keep because they're my current projects that I'm working on that I might put icons on them later. All right, so we are going to we're going to transfer 33. And I've already checked them all. At this point in the process, you can recheck them all if you want. You can go through all of them, relook at all of them, figure it all out if you want. I trust my past self, and I think that this is probably fine, so I'm going to transfer all of these. All right. So now let's see where we're at. So that transfer freed up about 52 slots. I've just transferred 52 Umas. Maybe not the most Umas that I could have transferred. I could have been a little bit more stringent with some of them, but there's some of these that I kind of want to deliberate a little bit more, and I didn't want to do that in a video. But freeing up 52 Umas is pretty nice, and obviously when the CM ends, I'll remove all of my aces that, were not quite good enough, or, didn't become my ultimate ace, and also don't have very good sparks. And then maybe I'll look at some of these some more, but the good thing is that now all of these have icons on them. They are all going to be sorted, so I can cross-reference all of them with other Umas with the same icon. I'm able to sort them and group them into very small groups, which helps me mentally to, get through how difficult it might be to sort them. I don't have to think about all of them together. I just think about them in batches, right? And that's going to really help me, I think, going forward into the future. Having one sorting system is going to really help going forward into the future. So thank you guys so much for staying with me and watching me as I go through this process. Hopefully it helps you as well. And yeah, this is just something that I really wanted to do because the new scenario is coming. We want to make sure that I am, my inventory is fresh. We want to do a spring cleaning. We want to kind of Marie Kondo this and get it all out. And I'm glad that we did. So let's go ahead and revisit our rules here. We're going to have an icon on every Uma, store all of the umas with no icons, add icons or transfer them, then sort umas by icons. Is this unique in its icon grouping? If yes, keep it. If no, transfer it. And you can do what I did, which is just to remove the icon, which puts them all into the unsorted umas list. And then you can go through the unsorted umas list later as a great way to do a 2-pass system, just to make sure you're not accidentally transferring anything really important. And this way you can really work through all of your uma backlogs. Again, here's how I use my icons. I have my early account umas, I have previous aces, I have the first umas that did something significant, or something that I'm emotionally attached to that doesn't factor into one of these two options. And then I have here my utility icons. So these are all the icons that I use for utility. Most of them, some of them have overlap, some of them don't, but it's really important to me to just be able to group them into smaller groupings so I can make it more manageable for my mental load. And yeah, these are, again, the final tips. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped you and inspired you to do a little bit of spring cleaning on your own. There are some other ways to do this. I know that some people keep spreadsheets. I started trying to keep a spreadsheet, especially for like my groundwork umas when I was farming them in CM3, but I found that maintaining them and updating them constantly was just unmanageable for me, and it was leading to me kind of dreading it, which was making it so that I went longer along without doing it, and it just didn't work out for me. So this is the system that I use now, and even though sometimes I lose track of some certain umas, this is a great way for me to make sure that I am transferring large numbers of umas that are redundant on my account, or that I just don't have a use for anymore compared to other umas in the same category. So I hope this helped for you, and please feel free to share your own methods or ask some more questions, ask about a little bit more about comparing. All that's great. Thank you again, and I hope that you guys have a great day, and I would love to hear some other methods that you might have. Bye-bye.